Hi everyone, good morning. This is 7th video in JCL. In this video we are going to see selective IBM utility programs. The first program is IFBR14. This program is called dummy program or a dummy utility because why it is called as dummy is it doesn't have any source code as such. It just return the control back to OS. Why you need one such program? Because you want to do anything like dataset related operation, like I want to create a dataset, I want to delete a dataset, and then only this statement is enough. But syntax as such you don't allow this. After job we cannot code a DD. We have to do one P exec below exec only we can code the DD operations. So you need something here, at least dummy, right? That dummy is IFBR14. Our intention is doing something related to dataset, but for the namesake we need a program. We'll be using IFBR14. So it contains only one statement, which is BR14. BR14 is branch to register 14, that nothing but return the control back to OS. If you are a COBOL program, for you to understand better, this is a program which is something like you have a COBOL program. In the procedure division, one and only statement is stop run. So this IFBR14 is such kind of program. Okay. Now, but it has its extensive use in real time. If you see, most of installation production job, the first job usually in every job, the first step, what it does is it will see what all the data sets are created in the job, and those data sets will be deleted in the first step, and for that they will be using IFBR14 only. Okay, so in this example also what I am doing is the second step is creating a data set called EMP data, and the data set I am deleting here. So without IFBR14, without this particular step, if I try to resubmit the job, this step will fail with the error saying that duplicate data set name exists. So having this, all already created run data sets are deleted, so job runs smoothly. Okay, so IFBR14, you can take it granted that you will find extensively in your project, though it's a dummy program as such. Second, IEBGenner. IEBGenner is primarily used for copying a PS to PS file. Sorry, or tape to dash D or dash D to tape. All these things we'll do in real time using IEBGenner. IEBGenner can also use to reformat the files. You have an input, you can reformat and you can write it in outfill. For that purpose also I can use IEBGenner. But today IEBGenner is not used for those purposes. SORT is preferred for those things. And IEBGenner can also use for another purpose, like you have a PS file content, data content that has 5 different types of records. You want to copy each type of record into different members. You want to create a 5 members where every member contain its own type of records. If you want to do like this, from physical sequential data set, you want to create the n number of members, that is also possible using IEBGenner. But again, hardly I come across such need in my real time any development project. So IEBGenner in real time, you take it granted, we use only for copy purpose. Okay. Third utility I want to talk is IEB copy. And while IEBGenner is for physical sequential dataset, IEB copy is for partition datasets. You want to copy all the members of one PDS to other PDS, or selectively copy some members, or you want to selectively copy. At that time, if a member is already available in the target dataset, you should not replace. If it is not there, you need to add, or you want to exclude few members, copy remaining all. Like this, you want to play, anyway, by members between two PDS, you will go with the IEB copy. So there are various control cards are there for what IEB copy to do. And in this case, what I am doing is copy out DD sysut2. So this is my output dataset, this is my input dataset. The copy is happening from here to here. How? Select member GDG 0, 1, 2 means only these 3 members are copied from this dataset to this dataset. That is what this control card says. And there are various other control cards are there, how to avoid replacing a member if already exists, or how to exclude one member and copy, or if you don't code the select member at all, if you delete this line, then all members from there to here it will be copied. Like this, various cards are there. And those cards, like as I said, IEB General also reformatting and for creating PS to a number of members. So, for various cards are there. Those cards, I'll put it in my comment section of this video. You can refer it if you need it. Generally used fashion is this. Okay, IEB General, you do like this. SysUT1 always input dataset. SysUT2 always output dataset. Sysprint output of this operation. What has happened to this operation? Sysint is DD dummy. As long as UT1 is the input, UT2 is the output. By default, it copy from here to here, so no special sysint to be coded. Step this one, copy of DD in DD is alone is sufficient if you want to copy all the members. Select members means like this, and it has many more syntax which we'll see later. Okay, generally copy to copy, yeah, that's it. Okay. So first let us do hands-on for these three, and then we'll go to the next one. I'll see whether this member already exists. This PDS already exists. If it is there, I'll delete it. This one already exists. Let me check. I want it to exit to show that it got deleted in step 1 and recreated in step 2. It is there. So I'll run it. Now what happens is this dataset will be allocated and deleted when step 1 done, and in step 2 it's going to copy the content from this dataset to that dataset. I think this contains GDG data, which means only 5 dataset members. Yeah, 5 names. Okay, fine. Now step 3 is going to copy 3 members from here to here. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, so deleted and created, deleted this one, allocated and deleted. This would have been created and would have taken a copy. So I want to see five names here. Yes, 5 names, and then this one is doing a copy of PDS. So I want to see 3 members, given members in this GD 0, 1, 2. Okay, if I compare it against JCL, they should exactly match. It is not catalog. What is our JCL name? A2MP JCL, no. What is the JCL? I don't remember it. From where we copied? Muthu.jcl. Okay, files are the same. So that is doing a copy. Okay, now I think you are aware of you have knowledge on these 3 utilities. Now let's move on further. Okay, the 4th utility what I'm given here is IDCAMS. IDCAMS I don't want to cover here. It's a utility we have already seen as part of GDG. It is used for allocating a GDG and altering the GDG. For those purposes, IDCAMS is used. And IDCAMS extensive uses related with 2 operations. One is VSAM related operation and GDG related operation. VSAM like define cluster or alternate index definition, or build index, defining a path, or repro. All these operations IDCAMS is used. So I want to cover IDCAMS in detail as part of a VSAM playlist. And right now just be aware of this is extensively used utility with respect to GDG and VSAM. Okay. Still, I want to say, 2 main function of, IDCAMS with respect to maybe entry perspective or real time also. Okay, because I would like to complete a JCL playlist within another 2 videos, and VSAM will be a separate playlist. So I want to cover those 2 scenarios around here. And at real time, sometime you may want to know that a data set has some records or it is empty data set. To take a decision of what to do with the data set. That time what you will do is you call a print functionality of IDCAMS. Print, give the data set name and count of 1. So this saying that display first record from this file. So if record is there, that will be displayed. If a record is even 1 record, it is not there, what happens is we will get a return code of 4. Like if I give 4 and only 3 records are there, you will get a display of 3 records, but the return code is 4 because you are not able to do the fourth record display. So one record itself is not there, so no display return code of 4. So you want to know that a data set empty or non-empty, you will use count1 and you will do a print data set of ID camps. Okay, let's restart step 4. It's 0. It's printed 1 because it's a non-empty data set, right? It has 5 names inside it, so it would have printed it. Now what we'll do is, let's make it empty. Now I expect return code 4 from this step. Okay, 4. So this print of count1 of dataset helps me to identify whether the dataset is empty or non-empty. Now one another requirement may come. I want to know the dataset exists or not. See, in real time, a dataset without exists, if that I coded in DD, it will give me a JCL error. But without JCL error, I want to track a dataset exists or not, means what you will do is, you can do here in the print itself, you can do what it will give you is return code of 12 it will give. But 12 is not fair because 12 is something abnormal. So I don't want to use to know whether dataset is exists or not. I don't want to use a print function. Rather, I would like to use listcat function for that purpose. Listcast entries. What the listcat will do is, it will give you from the catalog. It takes the information available for this data set and displays. When I do a data set for existing data set, it takes the information and it will do the display successfully with a return code of 0. Let's see what it does here. So if you see here, it says, like this is in catalog, and like this, it shows the information about the data set, in which catalog, whatever it is. Now, if we do a data set which does not exist, what it will do is, dataset not exists, so it will give you return code of 4. So you can use the listcat function of IDCamps to know that the dataset exists or not. You can use some print count function to know a dataset is empty or not. Okay. So aware of these two, and in fact, ideally speaking, this listcat command is part of a TSO command, so we can do it in IKJP01 also. You see here, you can do a listcat commands here. The detailed listcat functionalities will be here. Similarly, if you see what is the print, right? Print also you can see it here. Okay. In bin data set, count or in which format, from which key to which key, if it is a visa, anyway. Fine. So that is about your listcat and print of IDCamps, but IDCamps as such we will see detail as part of visa. Next, DFSOT. Extensively used utility is DFSOT. Okay, your installation may use DFSOT or SyncSOT, but I don't want to talk on SOT here because we have already a playlist of SOT done by Ashwin, which covers SOT utility in depth with all required day-to-day life scenarios. So probably you may want to watch the SOT playlist to understand the SOT in detail. And I can tell you that if you are a mainframe programmer, you should know SOT to its depth, so that in real time, many cases you will do, just like that. Like, a client sometime would have given 2 data set or even 2 Excel files. He want to compare, these 2 files against another sources and get the information. Or from one data set, you want to remove the duplicate and take it. Or you have 2 data set, you want to see the records which are available in both files, only those records you want to see, or you want to see records in file 1 which is not in file 2, or in file 2 which is not in file 1, like outer, inner, natural, all those joining you want to do. Sort is a easy way, or unique records taking, or include, omit, or reformat, or you don't want to SOC 7 append, you want to take all the records, all the numerics are valid, like huge users are there in SOT in real time. So please, if you are a mainframe programmer, please go and watch all the scenarios in real time and how and all you can do it in SOT without going for a program. Even you can write a reports using SOT, the simple reports without writing a COBOL program. Okay. Fine, so I don't want to speak on sort here in this video, but anyway I'll do one small exercise alone. What this is doing is, in the sort in I have two records. Sort out is output, sys out is the success or failure of sort will come here, and sys in is a control card. Here I'll be saying copy, means don't do any sorts. As such you copy from input to output. Then include can't I put, so I'm putting a filter here. 7 to 3 character equal to ASM. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 to 3 ASM means this is COB, this won't come. Only this record alone will come in the output, which is in the sort out. That is what this says. Okay, so let's run this quickly and then I'll go to the next one. Step 5, right. So only one record, which is param. Okay, so that is done. Now next is IKJFT01. We all know IKJFT01. Okay, it's a terminal monitor program. So whenever you want to do in anything you want to do in TSO, we'll be going here. And we have seen this extensively and used in our Rex sessions. So if you want to run a Rex program, what you will do, like, how do your TSO EX Rex? Alternatively, I can do it like, this means what? If I give a TSO EX, if I do like this, I got the result. The same results I want to do a batch, I'll go with the time, TSO time. Whatever the result is, time is coming, right? So if I submit it, these two will get executed. So anything TSO you want to do, and that you can pass it here. It's a terminal monitor program, it gets it done. And also, if in real time, you would have, batch. If you want to run a DB2 program in batch, you would have used IKJFT01 only. 1A, 1B are two different versions of one, which is, they are alternate entry points to this program. So you can use any of these to run your, COBOL DB2 programs in batch. Okay. I think we are done. I'll run it this once. Error. Step 6. Why error? Because statement here. So time. You got the time output. You got hello world. Okay. So that's it. These are the utility programs which we use commonly in day-to-day life. There are some other utility programs are there which I haven't used in my most of my career, but anyway, just for the sake of taking, I'm saying here IEH list, which is for listing the catalog. Okay, you will be using IEH list, and IEH unit is for initializing the table. Print and punch utility is there to print a data set, or fully a part of a PS or PDS. IEH move is used for copy from one data set, one volume to other volume. The data set you want to do, you can do. IEB compare, it's for comparing two data sets, but yeah, in real time it is we do copy of data set, compare of data set for various reasons, but we have used extensively with 3.13 batch, that is ISR SUPC. That is the one we used in real time whenever the need comes but I prefer to do a separate video for that because I need to talk a lot on that utility. I need to say how simply you can compare the two files, or you can compare mask and certain fields which changed. You want to mask the fields and do the comparison, or in case of field expansion project, I want to compare 1 to 5 of 5 column of one field with in another field 2 to 6 column, because 1 to 5, because field is expanded, right? So I have to do in a different one column in one file with another column in a file I want to compare. Like this, I need to do various comparison ways I have to explain. So I'll do those things in a separate video, and I'll be using ISR SUPC, which is 3.13 batch for that purpose. IEB compare, I don't. Okay, but it is for using for the simple comparison. Okay, IEB edit, no, we haven't used in real time, but it is for selectively copying a few steps from one JCL. Okay, for that purpose, IEB edit is used. And I'm seeing here something INTR-DR. Probably before winding up this video, I'll talk on this INTR-DR because it is something you should aware of it. What I will do is okay. What is that INTR do to INTR DR do? INTR DR is nothing but internal reader. Okay. When you do sysout equal to star, this output will be appearing in the sysout of this data set. When I do INTR DR, what it will do is whatever the return in the sysout, that will be sent to this program also, which in turn it's going to be get submitted as a job. So in this case, what happened is IBM util 1. Act 1 I am copying here, at the same time I am sending to INTR-DR. So what happens is this will be resubmitted by running this job. End of the job, that will be resubmitted. Fortunately, I have seen that. Let me run it now. It's 0. If you see, the first job again submitted. Okay, that is what happened here. So it is not in sysout. That sysout, see, generally you will see sysout here, right? If at all I coded like this, sysout equal to star without program, it will be in a sysout. It won't get submitted. But since I coded INTR-DR, it's getting submitted. See here, if you see, it is in sys-util2. In this example, that is submitted here and it is getting processed. Okay. So why I am saying this is not a JCL way. It is the question is, how do you submit a program? I mean, how do you submit a job from a COBOL program? How do you submit a job from Natural? Or how do you submit from PL1 or anything? How you submit it is this way. What you will do is take this DD, allocate the DD in your program, write whatever the things you want to submit, like job card, X card, DD card, everything. Write it now in this file. Okay, in the file allocated to sys-util2, and then when you close the file and job is ended, whatever you have built inside the program against the data set, that is going to be submitted to the spool. This is how you submit a job from a COBOL program. Okay. So aware of this INTR-DR, sysout equal to star comma INTR-DR. Okay. And I think whatever I want to say on IBM utility programs, I've covered. Maybe I'll be doing 2 more videos. The next video will be whatever leftover topics in JCL, I'll cover it. And one final video that is going to be a JCL evaluation. See, we have seen 7 videos, right? After that, I'll ask you, kind of various questions and see whether you are able to answer it. You should be able to answer it. And you can treat those questions as like interview questions also. Okay, so I don't say answers in that video. I'll simply say only questions. If you are able to answer, you have gone through the videos thoroughly. Or you haven't gone through any of the videos and you are able to answer all the questions, okay, you are already a master in JCL. Okay, otherwise you have to come back and go through our videos. Thanks for watching.